California notice to all Californians, Grievance 66, April 30th, 2019. New California is a new state in development exercising its constitutional right to form from the state of California. The process to form New California is authorized and codified in Article 4, Section 3 and 4 of the United States Constitution. Statement of intent. The citizens of New California have decided to remedy the abuse of power by the government of California by exercising their right to form a new state provided in United States Constitution, Article 4, Section 3 and 4. We are determined to live under a state government in the United States of America and under the Constitution of the United States. New California Declaration of Independence of January 15, 2018 states, whenever any form of government becomes destructive, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government. When a long train of abuses and acts to seize and hold the people's power without legal authority and pursuing invariably the same object that clearly demonstrates a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Preamble of the New California State Constitution states, we, the representatives of the undersigned counties within the state of California, do acknowledge and humbly invoke the favor of Almighty God for continued civil and religious liberty to ourselves and our posterity. First Amendment of the United States Constitution states, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The counties of New California bring forward 95 grievances to be announced in public on Tuesday at 11 a.m. State of New California Grievance 66, Declaration of Grievance, Statement of Facts. The people of California are suffering from a tyrannical state government which fails to provide a republican form of governance, enables and supports across its southern border the invasion of the United States of America by illegal foreign nationals, and protects vicious criminals who commit outrageous acts of violence upon the citizens of America, all caused by a government of and for a monoparty system led by a tyrannical dictator who openly defies federal law. California state government is in direct violation of the following. United States Constitution, Article 4, Section 4. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. United States Constitution, Article 6, Section 2. Article 6, Section 2. This Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. Disarming of Californians is the order of the day, and conspiracy to create an administrative state and functionary of the United Nations. The rogue socialist government of California is in direct violation of its constitutional obligations, has subordinated and subjected the government of California citizens to the will of foreign governments and monetary interests by treaties and agreements without the consent of the governed and without referendum, which has been now effectively supplanted by the administrative state that has been built upon socialist and dictatorial principles. The United Nations agenda is contrary to the will and the general welfare of the citizens of the rural New California state, and indeed is at enmity with them and their way of life. By this means, the rogue government of California has circumvented the constitutional mandates and trust bestowed upon it by the people. Nowhere is this best seen than in the rogue socialist government's attempts to eliminate the God-given right in the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution, the right to keep and bear arms. Declaration against the intent to disarm American citizens. The intent to disarm American citizens living in New California has been clearly vocalized by the mouthpieces of the monoparty globalist establishment that is the government of California, and that has sold our citizenship birthright to special interests for illicit profits. A citizenry that is capable of preserving and defending its liberty by the legitimate use of arms in self-defense and self-preservation is an obstacle to the manifestly dictatorial and totalitarian aims of the globalist government in Sacramento. Let it be known and understood that the United States citizens residing in what we refer to as New California State consider the forced armament of citizens to be an egregious act of violence. The act of disarmament is an act of war. This was the same act of war that commenced the American Revolution when the British forcefully confiscated weapons and ammunition from our ideological progenitors and patriots at the time of our founding as a nation. We consider it a moral imperative to engage in civil disobedience to any tyrannical act of legislation that impedes or infringes our constitutional rights, and equally as imperative is to meet force with force if such threats as have been uttered by the mouthpieces of the rogue government of California are acted upon. President Donald Trump protects the Second Amendment. Donald Trump announced the U.S. will withdraw its support for a United Nations treaty regulating the multi-billion-dollar global arms trade. Addressing the National Rifle Association, NRA, in Indianapolis, the president said he would revoke America's status as a signatory of the Arms Trade Treaty, regulating conventional weapons, including small arms, battle tanks, combat aircraft, and warships. Quote, "My administration will never ratify the UN Arms Trade Treaty." Quote, end quote. Trump said, quote, "We're taking our signature back. The United Nations will soon receive a formal notice that America is rejecting this treaty," end quote. Trump added, quote, "Under my administration, we will never surrender American sovereignty to anyone. We will never allow foreign bureaucrats to trample on your Second Amendment freedom. I'm officially announcing today that the United States will be revoking the effect of America's signature from this badly misguided treaty," end quote. Obedience to the rogue government of California is disobedience to the United States of America and the United States Constitution. New California State will not tolerate the rise of the totalitarian insurrection. The government of California, the current governor and monoparty system, along with local officials, are following a coordinated design with the intent to actively engage in acts of insurrection against the U.S. Constitution. The Insurrection Act of 1807 is a United States federal law that governs the ability of the President of the United States to deploy military troops within the United States to put down lawlessness, insurrection, and rebellion, acts of secession. Therefore, the California government, in conjunction with the socialist state executive, instituted wherever the current socialist governor has usurped power, has created a reign of terror on the United States citizens living in California with the intent to secede from the United States of America and thus destroy the very union of states which secures our liberty and freedom. Abdication of authority. Betrayal by the sitting socialist governor of California, the monoparty legislature, and local elected officials is evidence of abdication of their responsibilities of authority and sovereignty over the state and citizens of the United States living in California. Prayer. The citizens of New California State pray for the President to exercise his authority under the Insurrection Act of 1807 to end the tyranny being foisted upon the United States citizens living in California State. This concludes these proceedings. To donate and for more information, please contact New California State OC.org. Excuse me, newcaliforniaoc.org. Thank you.